have you ever really thought about the fact that we're all hurtling through space on a spinning rock? We are, but we never feel it. Today we're going to explore a pretty terrifying thought experiment. What if that constant, steady motion just stopped? Let's dive in.
So what if, in an instant, our planet just slammed on the brakes? I mean, a full dead stop. The rhythm of sunrise and sunset, something we totally take for granted, suddenly gone. What would actually happen in that first second, that first day, and in all the years that followed?
To really wrap your head around the chaos, you first need to know this number, 1,670 kilometers per hour. That's over 1,000 miles per hour. That is how fast the Earth is spinning right now at the equator. Yeah, faster than the speed of sound.
Now, we don't feel this incredible speed because everything, the air, the oceans, you, me, the ground beneath us, it's all moving along together. But if the planet suddenly stopped, we and everything else would not. It's like being in a car going 1,000 miles an hour that hits a brick wall. Now, just imagine that happening to the entire planet.
This brings us to the first phase of the catastrophe, and those immediate consequences? They're all driven by one single fundamental law of physics. That's right, inertia, the basic idea that an object in motion wants to stay in motion. So while the solid planet itself has stopped cold, everything that isn't welded to its bedrock, and I mean everything, would keep going eastward at that blistering speed of 1,670 kilometers per hour.
So the key here is this isn't like an earthquake or a storm. It's a complete, instantaneous scouring of the planet's surface. Buildings would be ripped from their foundations and launched. The oceans would surge into tsunamis that wrap around the entire globe, and the very air we breathe would turn into a supersonic force, shredding absolutely everything in its path.
You know, the scale of this is it's hard to even imagine. We're talking about winds faster than any hurricane in recorded history. They'd create so much friction they could literally ignite the surface of the planet and just strip continents clean right down to the rock. Now, for anyone or anything that somehow, miraculously, survived that initial disaster, well, the planet itself would then begin to fundamentally change shape. The first thing to go? Our world map. The oceans would start a massive, unstoppable migration.
You see, the Earth's crazy fast spin creates a slight bulge around its middle. That's centrifugal force at work. And that force is what helps hold our huge oceans in their basins. But if you turn off the spin, poof, that force vanishes. Gravity takes over completely, and all that water is free to go wherever gravity pulls it.
The result would be a complete redrawing of the world as we know it. Water would just surge away from the now flattening equator and collect at the poles. You'd end up with two enormous polar oceans, and in the middle, a brand new megacontinent, a single band of dry land circling the entire globe.
So, with the planet's geography violently rewritten, our very concept of time would be next to go. Day and night, as we know them, they'd be gone, creating a new world of impossible, terrifying extremes. Think about it. Without its daily spin, the Earth is still orbiting the Sun. This means one side of the planet would face the Sun for 6 straight months, while the other side would be plunged into a 6-month-long night. A single day-night cycle would now be 365 of our old days long.
This would create a planet of stark, uninhabitable contrasts. The side facing the sun would be baked into a lifeless, boiling desert. The dark side would become a frozen, barren wasteland. Any hope for life would be confined to this narrow twilight zone between the two extremes, just a thin band of perpetual dawn or dusk where temperatures might allow for liquid water.
But even in that twilight zone, a final silent killer would be at work. The very thing that makes Earth a haven for life, an invisible force field that protects us from the harshness of space, it would just begin to fail.
You know, the Earth's rotation does so much more than give us our days. The churning of our planet's molten iron core, which is driven by this spin, generates a powerful magnetic field. This magnetosphere, it's like a shield, deflecting harmful solar radiation and protecting our atmosphere from getting blasted away by solar winds.
So, when the rotation stops, the whole system just dies. It's a devastating chain reaction. The dynamo in the core sputters out. The magnetic field collapses, and without that shield, the planet's surface gets bombarded with deadly radiation. Over time, that constant blast of solar wind would just strip our atmosphere away, just like it did to Mars billions of years ago, leaving our world cold, irradiated, and totally barren.
So the whole scenario is pretty bleak, right? An instant stop means total annihilation. But what if the stop wasn't instant? This distinction is actually the key to the whole problem.
Let's think about it this way. If the Earth were to slow down really gradually, over billions of years, life might actually stand a chance. Evolution could adapt to longer days and nights. The climate would change slowly. But a sudden stop? That gives zero time to adapt. Inertia becomes the real killer here, making this a completely unsurvivable extinction-level event.
So what's the big takeaway from all this? Well, it's that the gentle, predictable spin of our planet is one of the most powerful and essential forces in our lives. It's not just some cosmic clock that marks our days. It's the engine that powers our protective shield, that holds our oceans in place, and that provides the fundamental rhythm that allows life itself to thrive. The sunrise isn't just a beautiful event. It's a sign that our world is still, perfectly, beautifully, and thankfully in motion.